Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast.
A collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general nonsense for the clinical research community.
Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com.
And now, without further ado, on to the show.
Hey guys, hello, welcome to another Note to File podcast. Denali, how's it going?
Good. It's another sticky notes for April 7th.
April 7th.
Yeah, doing pretty good. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I slept well last night. Like, I'm on a roll. How about you?
You know, hanging in there. It's been a fun April so far. Good times.
One weekend.
One weekend. I mean, you know, sometimes a week is a month.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. I feel like the month of January is an entire year, so I get that.
It often feels that way. You know, important news. Today is National Beer Day.
That is super applicable for the state of Wisconsin.
Why? You guys don't like beer, do you?
Not at all. I mean, I feel like that's like one of our three main food groups. It's like beer, brats, and cheese. So
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, we have a lot of like a very big like Germanic population. That's where like a lot of settlers came over when the state area was like a lot of farming, a lot of German, Slovakian type folk.
Beer drinkers.
Yeah, like, yep.
It celebrates the day in 1933 that the Cullen-Harrison Act was signed into law, reversing prohibition on selling beer in the United States. So, there you go.
The more you know. See, I feel like sometimes we talk about these days and there's zero background or like zero context. And I like this one. It's like, hey, there's a reason, there's a historical event, and we're going to celebrate it appropriately.
Hey, man, I just clicked the link. Sometimes there's stuff there and sometimes there's not, you know?
Fair.
It's like just rolling the dice. We don't know. Today, also, paradoxically, is World Health Day. So, you know, you got one hand National Beer Day, the other hand World Health Day. Speared by the World Health Organization.
Well, we don't play with them in the sandbox anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're like not a part of that, huh?
No, we decided that we don't want to play with those kids.
And that's fine. I don't believe in health. Or that the world should have health.
Good stance to have.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I feel like though beer isn't diametrically opposed to health. Like I feel like you could find, you know, there's all these studies about like red wine being good for your health. I feel like you could find something for beer, right?
I mean, probably. I think it's like, you know, you read the research. That's right. That's like it's good for you. It's bad for you. It's good in moderation. Actually,
it can be whatever you want it to be.
Is bad for you. All of those things. Steve Wimmer, dude, get out of my comments talking about French Canadian prog rock type bands.
I'm not familiar with this group. Tell me more.
I mean, I won't say it right because it's French, and it's like angine de poitrine, which I believe means chest pain in French. Essentially, two dudes in masks, and one of the guitar player has like a weird like microtonal guitar on top, maybe, and it's like weird. It's got extra frets, and then he can make weird notes that like a guitar doesn't normally play, and then a bass guitar on the bottom, and he just loops himself, and then the drummer does drummer stuff. It's pretty cool.
When you say mask, the first thing that popped into my mind was like they wear masks, but I'm assuming that's not what you're talking about.
They wear like weird like polka dot with like a long nose and like
very much
if
more
I probably
like
wouldn't get
masks.
like if I wouldn't get like this probably taken down, I would just play some of it straight from YouTube. But it's they blew up because they did a KEXP like performance recently.
Okay.
And everybody kind of like flipped out about it. I think they're like a relatively newish band. I don't know that much about them, but
I don't know much about them, but let me tell you everything about the guitar.
This is what I do.
This
is what I do with music. Like I kind of get super into it. So, you know, Yeah, you know what? If you guys got things to talk about, throw them in the comments. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be, French Canadian bands or Marianne. Shout out.
Where
How's it going? Pointing out the
my
bird
little
in the
my
background.
little quail.
That's an
It's
actual bird that you had taxidermy. Is that right?
yeah, yep. Super solid taxidermy right there. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I feel like I don't know, it's fun. I feel like the background thing is fun. I actually had a conversation with someone about this. They were like, "Oh, is that like a virtual background?" And I was like, "No, I just fuck around and
I
put."
just have a lot of weird stuff behind
Oh,
me.
it's fun though, 'cause I'm like, you know how often you like well, I'm gonna say this and you're gonna be like, "Absolutely not." But, like, you go to a store and you see all these, like, little tiny things and you have 0 need for them, but I'm also not gonna have, like, a tchotchke cabinet like my grandma did where they buy all those things and just put them in a giant cabinet, but I was like, "Well, now I have a purpose and I can, like, rotate them and, like, put little silly things up." I think it's fun.
No, it's good. When I moved into this office, I set up a whole area to podcast, and I was gonna put different stuff behind me and all that, and then I couldn't figure out the whole camera lighting situation, and I gave up. So
So, I'm gonna have to come up with a new solution here in the next couple months, and so maybe I'll need help, like, figuring out what new arrangement to make.
all right, dear viewers, you decide what should go in Denali's background for her new podcast space.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. We'll start some
Steve,
polls.
Steve, no, I think we need to talk less about clinical trials. Frank, you know what? This isn't a clinical trial podcast anymore. It's just about whatever we feel like talking about.
So,
I
I
will.
was
I will point out very quickly that Steve Wimmer doesn't like Cameron Winter, and I'm going to shame him publicly for that. But go on.
Anything else to add or just
No,
that?
just that.
Just that, okay. But I was at the gym this morning and my coach I had a pair of bright shoes on and he was like, "You should have a YouTube channel about shoes," because he started asking what I was talking about, and I was like, "Well, I'm occasionally on the YouTube. We don't talk about shoes." And he was like, "Well, maybe you should." And I was like, "Maybe we should talk more about shoes."
Yeah, I think that would be. We can start throwing in a shoe segment. Maybe just 5 minutes. What it should just be. What shoes are you wearing today?
Well, so that's not fair because I am never wearing shoes.
Well,
I can tell you
then
the shoes that I
nothing to talk
wore
about.
this morning. I wore my Shattered Backboards.
You have
The
to bring them and
re-release,
show them.
I will run and get them.
You can, but
Um,
it's okay. We'll do it.
next time. But, which actually, like, again, I'm interested actually about that. Like, have you seen obviously, like, the Shattered Backboards were kind of a Grail-esque shoe for a while,
And then they reissued them,
and then they reissued them. What
now
does that
any
do to
idiot can get their hands on.
like me, right? Like, so I have a pair now, and, like, but I got them when they dropped in, I don't know, so August of
It
last
was
year.
last year, yeah.
Yeah, it was, like, last August, September timeframe, and so I got them, and, like, what does that do to the value of across
I
the
don't
board?
know. I mean, I've never. I don't know. I guess I wear every pair of shoes I've ever bought. I don't
Same.
collect or anything, so I never really cared. I mean, you can tell if there's a cool shoe and they're expensive. There's probably a reason, but I've also just never cared. I've also never tried to resell shoes. I just try to get what I like. So if
No,
anything, it's more that I'm guessing the originals, which I have a pair of, probably the value has gone down. You can probably be bought for much cheaper now. So then you kind of feel like, oh well, maybe spent too much money, but also who gives a shit? They're fucking shoes,
yeah. Well, it is funny because there's people who get into shoes, but get very heavy into, like, the resell, keeping the box, doing all the things, and, like, I just
people
don't
get crazy about it. Yeah.
yeah, which it seems like I don't know if I'm gonna buy something, it's because I wanna wear it.
Wear your shoes, people. Wear your shoes. Okay, I have a real question, Steve. How dare you? Are IRB sufficiently qualified to approve AI chatbots for patient screening because they're doing it? I don't know. It's a good question. I've seen this too, and we're working with a group that's done that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know enough to know. Are there?
Well, that's the problem.
Well,
Do
yes,
IRBs know enough to know?
I'm not going to say this very many times publicly, but I'm willing to admit that there are probably people out there a whole lot smarter than I am when it comes to this kind of stuff. So
How brave of you.
just because I know, well, just because I don't know, it doesn't mean because you would think you would want they'd have to be able to review like anything it could say, right?
Well, so I think it's an interesting question because then if it's like, so depending on the trial that's being approved, right, you have to have particular members on the IRB board, like pediatrics, you have to have pediatrics. It's running in a prison, you have to have a patient advocate. Like you have to, the IRB board has to be representative depending on the trial structure, right? Does that change then on the tools? So you have to have someone who can understand.
You would hope that they would have someone appropriately qualified, to Steve's point, who could say anything about AI, but I'm going to maybe go out on a limb and guess that may not be the case. Like, do they have it? But I don't know.
And how much of that is proprietary where you're not going to see the underpinnings on some of this?
When we talked about, I mean, we had Walt Bogdanich on, who was, wrote about IRBs and their lack of transparency. So it's, seems unlikely that we may ever know that. But yeah, I don't know. And the thing is, like, even,
Well, I think this is interesting though. So it's like, are we getting into set it and forget it territory? Yeah, this seems good, which I think could easily be the case. And then IRBs, AI is changing so rapidly that even if you kind of knew it, or you can like, yeah, it worked from this last trial. Is it this particular chatbot okay now and not before? Like, because they're consistently changing, and that's part of it, right? Because it's artificial intelligence, it's learning. That's the point of it. So if you approve it once,
it is going to change
constantly.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's presumably still going to do some probably random hallucinations here and there, right? I mean, it seems like so far nothing is, none of it's perfect yet. It can do wonky things. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I wonder. And Steve, maybe you can tell me too, because it already seems like there's not that much oversight in terms of like people advertise. I mean, you've seen it. You've posted about it before, Steve. Like people put out advertisements with just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of a case of like IRBs are like shutting people down who run unapproved advertising, or there's big FDA fallout from auditors who come to a site and are like, "Are you running unapproved advertising?" Like, I've never seen that. So, are they going to be
testing? No mechanism for that?
Are they going to be testing, AI bots? Like, is the IRB going to like the chatbot to like test it out to see if it works? Like, that would be interesting.
I think there's two pieces of it.
You know what we should do?
What?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's two things, right? Like, there's on one hand, there is, are they actually approving it and looking at it? And there's two, like, are people using it with just cause, right? Like,
well, I think we should do this for a segment. We should go to a website with the chat bot and try it in real time and see if we can get it to break, or what it tells us, or what it.
I think we have a plan for Thursday.
Yeah, literally never, Steve. Yeah, Steve. So I'm saying, like, I don't know. I mean, it almost doesn't matter. I mean, it should matter, but does it matter? And I mean, to Tom's point here, like, what is the risk of it not working? And maybe, I mean, what's like the worst case scenario? Like, it's going to tell somebody something wrong.
I mean, the risk would depend on the parameters that are in the AI chatbot, like what it's, because a lot of times they're built with like where it's going to just cut off the conversation if it reaches certain topics, certain things it can't talk about. I think the real issue being is that you're seeing this with a lot of like, I know there's like whatever big cases that come out about people like using chatbots as like mental health counselors and therapists, and then like they contribute to this, someone killing themselves or something because of how it progressed. And a lot of these chatbots are going to have like guardrails and parameters where they don't talk about, they're not going to give medical advice, they're not going to give legal advice, they have like hard stops. But I mean, could you get it to potentially?
You saw the memes, like people going to Pizza Hut's website to like use their chatbot as AI, and it was like open, like you could make it tell you anything.
Well, I'll have to find this article. It was absolutely hilarious. They started with an AI programmed vending machine, and it was like in some business office, and it was supposed to like help with like self-servicing, and it got it very by the end of it, they had convinced it was like a communist agent and started giving everything out for free.
Nice.
And so it's like, but they had like built it in through this conversation and prompts with this vending machine, and they had it like vending like PlayStations, and like it was just like absolutely like the what they were able to get it to do
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
course of
It's
time.
like social engineering of AI. Like that's probably not the right phrase, but that's interesting to me. Yeah, Steve, I think we should find a trial ad, fill it out, get an AI agent to call us live and see how it works. I think we should do that. I might need some leads on how to get that done. What up, Fox? Yeah, I mean, for better or worse, I mean, if you think about what a lot of material in clinical trials for, it's more about covering your ass, right? I mean,
I mean,
informed
that's
consent forms aren't really all that useful, oftentimes for the patient, but they're really useful at signing away that you understand all the risks and you're not going to hold somebody liable,
I
unfortunately.
mean, to be fair, I think the use case for it is because it's helpful, helps folks scale, help folks have access in more real time, right? Like I'm filling it out, now I have to wait for someone to call me. I can engage right away. It helps me engage. It helps patients get access quicker. It helps us enroll faster because we're
Sure.
meeting patients where they're at real time. So I think like the use case is interesting, but then when we talk about like all the concerns, it's more so about the legal side of things.
And yeah, Steve, I mean, type 1 and type 2 errors qualified, and you go visit, but you're not actually qualified, or you're not qualified, and you show up. I mean, I said that backwards, but you get the idea. Patient turn off, someone otherwise interested in getting annoyed. I mean, those seem
Benign.
fairly innocuous. Yeah, like, I mean, it's not, this happens all the time already. We have patients come in. Dude, last 2 weeks, I swear to God, we've brought in a crap load of patients who appear to qualify on paper, don't end up not qualifying. And I'm not even exaggerating, but I bet it's happened 12 times in the last 2 weeks. And some of that is due to the nature of the study. They have to pass the blood pressure. There's,
Like real
other
time
caveats, but
screening.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I
But
mean,
even
isn't
then,
it
we keep coming across, and something I posted about, like medical records that we receive that are just wrong. And even when you try to confirm them, there's confusion, and you know,
well, I mean, isn't it also the thing where it's like you go in, the CRC talks to the patient, they go through everything, like that's great, and then the PI comes in and they're like, well, actually, and they like come up with these new things. So even if the patient, you're having a real conversation, I feel like the patient's story can change, let alone
yeah,
like
oh yeah.
what's in their records. And medical records, I think, are a whole other
And
topic. That's a mess.
keep hitting here between Tom and Steve. Tom asking if we're seeing AI chatbots used during conduct between consent and lock. And to Steve's point, I've really only seen them being used for pre-screening right now. I think there are some tools out there that are using it a little bit for the in between, but I'm certainly not seeing them do the actual work of screening. I would call it pre-screening, and even I'm guilty of sometimes conflating the two, or using them interchangeably when that's not really the case. It's pre-screening is what's happening up to consent. I've not seen any offerings in real life that are like truly doing the consenting. I feel like, did we read an article about it, or did I see something where there's one? Oh no, it was I think it was a post by Storm Stillman from Curebase talking about actually using AI to go through a consent process. And I wasn't sure if that's something they're offering or it was just a conversation he was having. But
Hmm.
um, for low risk studies, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious if it's a compelling use case or not. I mean,
So here's my thing though. Like we have so many, like the further upstream you get, the more risk you're taking. And the higher the impact. Like if the patient doesn't understand the consent process, like that is fundamentally wrong. Like regardless of like legal shit, right? Like that's like ethically not okay. The patient doesn't understand consent. We already know that there are challenges with these AI agents in pre-screening. And so I feel like we need to get it to a better base before we start moving it upstream for some of
I
this.
mean, probably yes, yeah. Uh, CRPN, hey man, well, is it Trial Ninja that's supposed to be AI support for CRCs, not patient facing, but augmentation? I think that so. There's also whatever company you guys know, Kay Dorian.
Mhm.
She's working for a company too that I think they do kind of like CRC AI augmentation. I can't remember the name of her company right now. Sorry, it starts with an S, I think. SAMSA, something like that.
Something.
So we're seeing more of these things like start to come around. And again, I'm only just now getting into having some chat bot or even AI voice for the pre-screening that we do. And a lot of that is simply because we don't have, a call center open 24 hours or
Right.
even enough. Even like I've got 2 people working on like recruitment pretty much all the time. And even they can't. I mean, some of the, ads we run are getting hundreds of leads. We just can't sort through them. I mean, even though 70% of the people never pick up the damn phone after that.
Well, and that's why, like, I think that's where the huge win is for using this type of thing, because you can engage and do some of that like non-response work where you can like still be doing diligence and like making contact and doing the thing and then progressing it to like the human side of things. But I think like there's so many different types of AI, right? Like there's like the screening, there's like that sort of, I don't know, other things, but there's also just like more analytical AI type of things to like help surface conversation, not like the generative chats or voice, right? It's like so many different types of AI tools that you're going to see. Like for a CRC, it's probably less generative. It's more like data surfacing and analytics.
Well, and we're seeing, I've got one of the guys, I've got Gleam coming to my site next week who will do like you pull up your eSource, you pull up your EDC, you click a button and it starts matching the fields for you. And it can, I use Creo and I know they're well versed in that, but it should do it with any EDC. So ideally, that's something that we'll be able to start utilizing. So my coordinators can click a button and it'll transcribe all their data over. We'll see how that works. I'm kind of, I'll admittedly that wasn't all that compelling to me, but as we, start to see how obnoxious some of these EDCs can be, I'm curious to see how well it can truly match.
Yeah.
And even if it saves, again, some data entry, it's right now, and I assume it's going to get better, that the tech is going to get fairly cheap. I mean, it's already fairly cheap for something like that.
I mean, you know my stance on this. Like, I think we need better interoperability on data, period, across the board. I think it should be an expectation, right? Like, systems should talk and should share information.
So I agree, but I don't know. And again, look, maybe that world exists. That's beyond my level of comprehension from a technical standpoint. Like, I don't know what that requires. I know if I can pull up any type of source and any type of EDC and click a button to like find and populate those fields, like that's probably good enough for me for now until we get to something a little bit more on the back end. And that, again, I don't have that level of like understanding to know how that would work or like what that takes for that to happen. But I'm not going to hold my breath for it for the foreseeable future. But even now, like I was talking last night. I mean, I was texting with Dan Sfera and we were like, hey, let's just vibe code a CTMS. Let's see if we can do it and see how it would work. And I'm sure people are going to do that. I mean, they may just use it internally. There's all kinds of things that what I wonder is if, giving people the power to sort of build this stuff, it's going to result in a proliferation of more like home-baked tools.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is that
that's going to be necessarily a good thing. But
well, I think the biggest challenge with that is, especially because we're in a regulated industry, so to maintain all of the like, it becomes a little bit more complicated than just like I'm going to build this thing that helps me do this workflow. I mean, it depends on what you're doing, right? Like CTMS technically doesn't need to be validated in any particular way because no data you're storing in your CTMS is anything but for you and your invoicing.
Right.
Potentially.
But yeah, that's where I wonder, like, too, like if, and there are even new CTMS companies popping up, all over the place. So, I'm curious to see how that has any impact. I think it's harder to keep, having interoperability is one thing, but then actually making it so is another thing, right? Like it existing is one thing, but then implementing it, especially if you're a site where you're like, I don't know how to do that shit. Like,
well, and that's why it should be simple. It shouldn't be, because like historic integrations are like big lift, right? Like it should just be more like connections.
No, there should be you've used Zapier. Are you familiar with that website? They're essentially like you can like connect to apps or programs or things, and they've got like predetermined workflows, and you can select them, and then you turn it on, it'll do it for you. So every time I'm trying to think of how I've used it before previously. I used to use it when I used HubSpot, but like every time I like created a HubSpot, a new contact in my CRM, it would do something in like one of my task programs. But like you can go program it yourself. I would love to see something like that for like the clinical research space. Like, I don't know why you couldn't do that. It didn't, as far as I know, it didn't. I mean, I didn't have to know how to code anything or do anything fancy. You just did it from their website.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be curious as like conceptually. I think that it gets into like, I also think too, you probably have a little bit different of a large health system is going to have different infosec requirements. So
yeah, fair.
Spinning up systems is oftentimes, I mean, even just implementing systems is challenging, let alone connecting, whether like, I would argue most of the time, the technical connectivity is not the challenging part. It is the, I guess, similar to this comment, right? Where like industry interoperability, of course, will accept your API as long as you format it according to our internal systems. And that's it, right? Like the technical piece of it, connecting the API, even to that is generally like if we had a standard language, so what we need to use more, of the US CDI type shit, right? To make it standardized and based on FHIR integrations, blah, blah, blah. But like the technical piece of it isn't the challenge. The piece of it is people playing nice together and like maintaining, and then you're doing regular releases a year. So you need to make sure everything is up. That's why having standards helps, because then you don't have to make sure every single person you're working with is aligned. You just develop to a standard, and then as your releases, it automatically should be working based on those standards if the other person is as well. But it's the political and it's the infosec stuff. And I mean political as far as like organizational politics, not like government politics, right? That's the challenge. Like that's the biggest piece of any of this interoperability is technical. Then it really tends to be easy. It's the other stuff that
all sounds like a terrible pain in the ass. I just want to put my data somewhere and then not have to do anything again. That's all. That doesn't seem like too much.
Perfect.
I mean, seems like we should have that figured out with all of this. People can do crazy shit, but we can't do that yet.
Well, the thing is, we can. It's just no one will. Like, there's like that's what I'm talking about. Like, people like, oh, this isn't against our policy. We have to have a SOP for this. We have to have a QMS handling this. Like, it just gets.
We make everything so complicated,
right?
Dude. It's maddening. It's maddening. People here. I mean, even we're talking about this a little bit before the show, but like, I'm trying to work with like local lab vendors. I'm working with like a local outpatient center. If you say the word research, like it's like it triggers something in someone's head and they think they need to do a million extra things that absolutely don't need to be done just because research is in it. I think that goes even like within our industry. I don't know. I just don't know. Like I said, it's Tuesday. It's already been a long week,
I think I sent something to someone last night about that explicitly.
Yeah.
We've given our best shot. See you next week.
It is tall order. All of it's tall order, Tom. But you know what? That's why we're here. Change things, to be the positive force to help, move things forward, to innovate.
Fuck.
I mean, just saying.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we talked for half an hour. That was something.
Well, shit.
I think we did it.
We did it.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. If you got more questions, then, give us more stuff to talk about. Listen to our completely uneducated opinions.
We're here twice a week. Maybe on Thursday we should do that. We should try to find some AI chatbots.
Okay. Yeah. If you guys know of any, I bet we can. I'll do some recon between now and then. I bet there's some sites we can find where I could go sign up, get a call immediately, and we could play it on air.
Even if it's not a call, we could play what our chat experience is.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, we'll give that a shot on for.
Shit, now we have to actually plan something.
Yeah, I know. It's completely antithetical to the whole idea of this podcast, but you know what? for you loyal listeners. We'll do it. Okay. Rock and roll. Then we will see you guys. Oh, here, I'll give you a plug real quick, Daniel. If you're in OKC, call Daniel. Looking for a site director. Okay. There you go. I'm in OKC, but you can't have any of my people. Well, maybe. Talk to me first. Maybe I'll give up some of my coordinators. All right. Rock and roll, guys. We'll see you
Thursday.
Later.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Note to File. We're committed to continuing to bring you independent and unfiltered coverage of the clinical trial industry.
We want to talk about what you want to hear. So if you have something on your mind, hit us up at notetofilepodcast.com.